What's going on YouTube? Nathan back with another video presentation. Hope everybody had a great week. Hope everyone is ready for the weekend. Hope everybody's staying safe. Before we get into the video, there's some things that I want to say up front. I'm going to record a part 6 after I just finished this. I have a video, and that's the way it goes on Love Train part 5. There's only a part 6 to that. I'm going to talk about Slim Danger and Odell Beckham Jr., who made headlines. Be tuned in for that video. That's all I'm going to say. There's another video that is possibly, may not be recorded. I don't know yet. But let's get into the video. As you see, the title of this video, I needed a day. I needed a day to really sleep on this, to really ensure the things that I'm going to say in this video that are precise and clear for you guys to understand where I'm coming from. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Skip Bayless made headlines with his statements toward Dak Prescott. I'm just going to sum it up for you. Essentially, Skip Bayless feels as though Dak Prescott should just deal with it and play football. Okay? Now, in this video, I'm going to talk to you simply a few things. My opinion on Skip's take, why I agree with Dak coming out and saying what he's going through, my experiences with depression, and then what I want to try to take away from this. Okay? I'm going to start off with a quote from Skip here. This was on his TV show, Skip and Shannon Undisputed on FS1. Okay? Quote, "You are commanding an entire franchise. They are looking to you to be their CEO, to be in charge of the football team. Because of that, I don't have sympathy with him I don't have sympathy for him going public with, I got depressed and suffered depression early in COVID to the point where I couldn't even go work out. Look, he is the quarterback of America's team. Skip Bayless, have you no shame?" Listen, we know Skip Bayless, ever since he's left ESPN, Fox has paid him a nice amount of money. Now, even when he was with ESPN, we know the things that come out of Skip Bayless's mouth. Listen, you love and you hate him. But this was completely out of bounds. I thought it was ignorant, and I think it highlights the level of sensitivity when it comes to mental health. And I believe that this right here is an example of we need to educate ourselves, and we need to continue to have this conversation of how to take care of ourselves. Now, Dak Prescott's brother, I believe his name is Jace, committed suicide back in April. I applaud. Well, hold on, I'm gonna hold that. Dak Prescott's also, I believe, lost his mother. I want to say it was in 2014. Skip, for a second, take away you being a journalist. Where's the humanity at? Where's the respect? Because what's quite alarming, he doesn't get it. These athletes are not like Superman. They are human just like I am and just like you are. Dak Prescott, for the most part, I applaud that everybody came to his defense. and in support. You're a Cowboys fan. Don't you think, Skip, you on that TV show would say, for a second, Dak, I'm here to lend a helping hand. Any way I can help, please feel free to reach out to me. What do you mean when you say, I don't have sympathy with him going public? What is he? So in other words, Skip, he should just keep his mouth shut and just play football? So in other words, you're more worried about the success of the Cowboys than the mental health of Dak Prescott. Do you think the Cowboys, let me ask you a question, Skip. With their star player coming out with comments like that, do you think those guys in that locker room really care about football? No, they're going to rally around their quarterback and show support, which is something you should be doing. But no, you more care about them winning. In other words, he should just deal with it and play football according to you. That's what you want him to do, essentially. You know, I said it in that Luka Doncic and Montrezl Harrell video. We have athletes that are very, very sensitive. That cannot be denied. That's a fact. Could you imagine, in former, current, doesn't matter, athletes really going at him to the point where if they saw him in public, I'm not condoning this, but they might have some choice words for Skip Bayless. And what's funny, he came out the next day with this bullshit statement. Quote, I want to reiterate some points I made Thursday on the show about Dak Prescott and the depression and the depression that he discussed. As I strongly stated, I have great compassion for anyone suffering clinical depression, which is very real. If you are suffering from any form of depression, please seek help. Now, I will say this, you did talk about that, but you went further by saying you don't have sympathy for him going public. So in other words, Skip Bayless. And let me ask you, and let me just say this, Skip Bayless has said on multiple occasions how his parents have dealt with alcohol abuse. And him coming over that challenge, and persevering through it. Skip has said that on numerous occasions. So let me ask you this, Skip Bayless. What is Dak Prescott supposed to do? What is your suggestion for Dak? Since you don't have sympathy for him going public, what is Dak Prescott supposed to do, Skip? Now, I believe this was he spoke to a reporter. I can't think Dak Prescott. Virtually responded, I have it here, quote, although all throughout this quarantine and this offseason, I started experiencing emotion I never felt before. Anxiety for the main one. And then honestly, a couple of days before my brother passed, I was started experiencing depression. I don't know necessarily what I was going through, to say it at least, and hadn't been sleeping at all. Listen, I applaud you, Dak, for coming out and letting us know what you're going through. First and foremost, I'm going to pray for you, Dak. I am, seriously. Because this is a conversation that needs to be had. With particularly the times that we're in right now, we are seeing what COVID, just from a mental health perspective, what COVID is doing to some of us. He lost his brother in April. And from what I can tell, that's a very close-knit type. That's a close-knit family. I know Kevin Love, I believe it was on Twitter, came out and came at Skip. I believe Kevin Love, Michael Phelps. I also want to say it's DeMar DeRozan came out and said that have experiences of going through depression. Zach Greinke, pitcher for the Houston Astros, has a social anxiety disorder. As I stated, these athletes are not like Superman. They don't just have, even though, listen, we look up to these guys, but listen, they have their days. They're human, just like you and I, Skip, just like you if you're watching this video. I'm going to give you an example. Shaq. This was after Kobe had passed away. Had died in a helicopter crash. You see the emotion on Shaq. Shaq just recently lost his sister to cancer. Shaq also lost his father. Shaquille O'Neal's been through a lot this year. And he didn't say it in that video. I might also leave that in the description as well. He didn't touch on it, but he had mentioned, he doesn't sleep that well, which means depression, in my opinion. You see, I'm hoping that this is a message for other athletes to come out and say something, no matter what they're going through. I'm going to give you another example. Stephen A. I'm going to leave this also in the description for y'all to see, because I want y'all to understand that this is a conversation that must be had when it comes to taking care of ourselves. Stephen A. had talked about when he lost his brother in a car crash. He got in the car in the middle of the night, went through 6 red lights, going 90 or 100 miles an hour, something like that. He wanted to kill himself. And then, with his mother recently passing away, Stephen A. talked about how everybody, from athletes, journalists, regular people, just lending support and being there for him. Now, I also believe Max Kellerman also talked about him losing a brother as well. I'm going to leave that video in the description for y'all to see as well. But, Skip, all these people, some of your colleagues, they go through these things too, Skip, just like Dak Prescott. I challenge you, Skip Bayless, to really educate yourself when it comes to a topic like that. And especially on this level, especially when it comes to depression, anxiety, suicide, all of that. I challenge you to really educate yourself. Now, I applaud Fox Sports for coming out and virtually saying, listen, we are proud of Dak Prescott for saying, for coming out and letting us know what he's going through. Skip Bayless's comments were flat out of bounds. And I dare someone to really challenge me or anyone on YouTube or on social media to say, well, what's the big deal? He can say his opinion. Not in this matter. Because that's insensitive. That's ignorant. I'm sorry, y'all. We look up to these guys, particularly athletes, and we have to take a step back to go, damn, I wonder what they go through every day. I wonder what their life's like. Could you just imagine what's going through Dak Prescott's head? Losing his brother in April, losing his mother. Just from a emotional and mental perspective, he doesn't care about football. I mean, For the most part, he's going to go out there and and play football. But he's not worried about that right now. If I'm Jerry Jones, Ezekiel Elliott, if I'm someone in that locker room, if I'm now the new head coach for the Cowboys, I cannot think of his name. His name just escaped me. Mike McCarthy. I'm saying, take some time for yourself, man. We're here for you. Any way we can be in support, let us know. That's what you should be doing, Skip Bayless. Will Skip Bayless apologize? No. Because Skip Bayless feels like he said nothing wrong. Just like in most of his takes. But you finna come up with this bullshit comment with, well, everyone misconstrued what I was saying. No, Skip. We heard you loud and clear. No one misconstrued a word you said. You said you had no sympathy for someone coming out public with something like that. That's what you said. You said that. No one misconstrued a damn thing you said. Now, I'm going to talk about my experiences. One, it's, for the most part, when you're battling something like depression, it's serious. As I stated, you just don't know what a person goes through on a daily basis. Now, I will say this. I had graduated from community college 3 years ago. It was in the summer. That summer, I contemplated suicide because I felt unwanted, betrayed, not loved. I just wasn't in the right place. I wasn't in the right frame of mind. But I had a couple friends, one in particular, and I thank her for getting me through a lot. Without her, I don't know where I'd be right now. But I also want to give credit to one of my uncles. I reached out to him, I believe it was in June 2018. And I said, listen, this is what I want to start doing. I want to start going to church. And since then, I've talked with my pastor, and he's gotten me through a lot. With COVID. COVID-19, with this pandemic, this us just being at home, I have my days. I have a father that's currently in the hospital. He suffered a stroke back in January. There are days where I just feel defeated. There are days where I just said, I can't go on. Depression's real. Mental health is serious. And what makes a person persevere is a support group, strength, and the will to persevere. That matters. In this case, Skip Bayless was flat out ignorant. And I'm going to say this, Skip Bayless, you've lost some respect from your colleagues, athletes, and people and people across the world that watch you and Shannon. You've lost some respect. Believe that. Because what you said was very insensitive, flagrant, and out of bounds. And I really think the right thing for you to do is to apologize to that man and that man's family. Because you don't know what his family is going through as well. Now, the takeaway from this, I want you to understand it's okay. We're human. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have your days. We're human. But when it comes to something like this, do not be afraid to reach out to a friend, reach out for some help, and say, listen, I have a problem. I need some help. Because at the end of the day, suicide's not worth it. Because I believe it was Thursday, yesterday. It was either yesterday or Wednesday. It was National Suicide Prevention Day. No matter what you're going through, just know that everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. In time, everything's going to be all right. But never be afraid to speak out, to reach out for some help. Don't be afraid to do that. Because taking your life, it's not worth it. Because we were all put on this earth for a reason. Think about the impact. Let's say, hypothetically, Dak Prescott committed suicide. Think about the impact that would have on his family. Think about just how far he's come. He's come this far. Dak Prescott right now deserves all the love and support from all of us, athletes, journalists, people, you watching this video. Not just for him, but for anyone that is going through it. Especially with the times that we're in right now. If there's one thing that you haven't taken from this video, please take this, please. You have so much to live for. You are something. You are somebody. You're going to get through no matter what you're going through. But never be afraid to reach out to someone and say, hey, can I talk to you? Or hey, this is what I'm going through. Because the first step in taking care of yourself is talking to somebody. That matters. And also, like I said, having that support group. Look at Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has a support group, his family and his team. Skip Bayless. Mental health is bigger than football. It's bigger than the Cowboys. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also consider hitting that subscribe button. It This was a little painful for me because I can understand what Dak Prescott's going through. Listen, this is not an easy road. No one said this was going to be easy. You're going to have your days. There are days, it's okay. It is okay. Cry, all of that. All of this, hide your emotions, tough it up. All that's bullshit. We are all human. And I really hope that we have more athletes, not just athletes, but more people in general, come out and speak out and saying, I have a problem. This is what I'm going through. I would like some help. Who can I reach out to? I would really love to see more of that. Because like I said, this is a conversation that needs to be had. With that being said, I hope everyone has a great weekend. I'm out. Peace. Stay up.